Real Truth Daily. This is Daily Truths with Dave Allman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Truths. Have you ever made such a huge mistake, such a major flaw, a huge blunder, that you went out and you wept bitterly as if people could hear from miles away? It came from the very depths of your soul, from the core of your being? I have. You have too, probably. Maybe it was over a tragic mistake or a tragic accident or a major financial blunder or a spoiled marriage or a heinous sin where you felt so bad about what you did, what you carried out, what you said, the decision that you made, that it just cut you to the quick, it cut you to the core, and you wept, you cried out bitterly to God over the mistake that you had made. We're in Matthew chapter 26, beginning to read at verse 73, 74, and 75, and this is what it says. And after a little while, the bystanders came up and said to Peter, "Certainly you too are one of them, for your accent betrays you." Then he began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, "I do not know the man." And immediately the rooster crowed. And Peter remembered the saying of Jesus, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." And he went out and wept bitterly. Now, who was this person? John tells us that the person who identified Peter here in this text was Malchus's relative. Remember the guy whose ear Peter had cut off? This was his relative who identified Peter as one of Jesus' followers. Now Peter invokes a curse upon himself, takes an oath and says, "May God strike me dead if I'm not telling the truth. I do not know him." So he went from not understanding the question to saying, "I'm not one of his disciples," and then saying it with an oath. And then what happened? The rooster crowed. Peter was reminded of the promise he had made to Jesus, and he went out and he wept bitterly. Not only the fact that he had denied the Messiah, but this was his dear friend. You could say to Peter at that time, "Is Jesus your very best friend?" And Peter would have said, "Yep, he is." Now think about this. You have probably a best friend in your life. How would you feel if you betrayed them, denied them, made a huge blunder that let them down? You would feel so horrifically horrible, right? And that's what Peter felt. And so he goes out and he weeps from the very depths of his being. He weeps bitterly. But that's not the end of the story. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, we're told that the first person, we've talked about this before, the first person that Jesus appeared to after he rose from the dead was Peter. And I'm sure that Jesus had a word of restoration, forgiveness, and pardon for Peter. As a matter of fact, towards the end of the book of John, Jesus not only restores Peter, but says, "You've got things to do. Feed my sheep, shepherd my sheep, feed my lambs." In other words, Peter, you're going to be the leader of the church. And the proclamation you made about me that I'm the Christ, the Son of the living God, is going to be the foundation for what is to come. Now, my friends, what Jesus did for Peter, he can do for you. He can restore the mistakes that you've made. So may I encourage you to trust in his grace and strength. Rest in his promises. There's no failure or mistake that is beyond repair. Remorse does not have the final word in your life today. His strength, his grace, his pardon can see you through. So let him do that. I don't know what mistakes you've made in the past. I don't know what failures you've had in the past, but here's the thing. I know that no failure of the past is beyond the reparation, the love, the forgiveness, the pardon, the strength that only Jesus can give. Rest in that today. Rely on his promises. Bask in the sunshine of his grace. Remorse does not have the final word. You have a life to live. Live it today with the strength and pardon that only Jesus Christ can give. Those mistakes of the past, they're forgiven, forgotten by God, and the Holy Spirit empowers you to live your life not with regret and remorse, but with joy and peace that only comes from Jesus Christ. Let it be so and let it be done to the glory of God's holy and saving name. And that is today's Daily Truth.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Truths with Dave Allman. Pastor Dave Allman is the pastor of Mount Hope Church in Boulder, Colorado. If this ministry is blessing you, please consider supporting us by sharing this channel with a friend. You can also like, comment, subscribe, or leave a review. This helps us tremendously. Come back tomorrow for your next Daily Truth.